We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope as a sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. Thank you. Before we sing the first hymn, let me remind our remote participants to leave yourselves muted. However, we want you and whoever is with you to sing with us as big and loud as you like. Make it a joyous experience. Please stand in body or spirit and sing the opening hymn, Morning Has Broken. 38. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of Cambria. We are glad you have joined us today. Our UUCC sanctuary sits on land that the Salinan and Chumash indigenous peoples historically inhabited. We honor their contribution to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to gather in faith on their unceded territory. Let us respect their legacy and protect their history as we occupy this sacred space. As Unitarian Universalists, we celebrate religious diversity and welcome all who journey in search of faith and spirituality. The UUCC is a lay-led congregation run by the democratic process. We invite speakers from different religious traditions and spiritual or scientific backgrounds to speak at our pulpit. We encourage presentations covering a variety of topics and areas of interest that connect with the UU7 principles. Today's service centers around the seventh principle. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. My name is Catherine Lekich, and I am your worship associate for this morning's service. Hi, Kat. Hi. I would like to extend a special welcome to today's guests and visitors. We're glad you joined us this morning, and if you wish, please raise your hand if you would like to introduce yourself or your guest. Yes.
I'm Mike Broadhurst. been in Cambria for 23 years, visit on Santa Rosa Creek Road. I've been here for many times, but not for several years.
Thank you, Mike. Welcome.
Welcome, Mike.
I'm with him.
Oh, there you are. What are you doing back there? Thank you. If you are not on the mailing list, please visit the UUCC website at uucambria.org so that we can keep you informed about all our activities. Members and friends, please check out what's happening, the e-blast sent to you every week. This is a great way to keep up to date with our latest news. If you wish to see this or any of the past Zoom services, the recordings can be found on the UUCC website and on Facebook. So again, good morning and welcome to everyone. The affirmation is both a recognition of the nature of this community as well as a promise to which we aspire. Let us now sing the affirmation.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help, and to help, and to help one another.
It's time for any special announcements that would be of interest to our UU community members and friends. Please keep your items short and to the point. If something needs more explanation, contact the person after the service. If you'd like to make an announcement, please raise your hand. When Randy or I call your name, please step up to the podium or unmute yourself, then speak. Dolores.
2 weeks from now, the 19th, right, we're having our congregational meeting here, and so the service will be about the congregational meeting, and then we'll have brunch right after. Oh, look, Kathy just walked in. Hey, Kathy. Okay, been gone for a while. Yeah, okay, so be sure to come because we need a quorum, and we're not sure if it's 40 or 50% at the moment because I couldn't look it up on the internet. Okay, my thing didn't work. Next announcement, and again, so that's at 10 o'clock. Come, for the regular service because you're going to hear everything about your congregation. The other thing is, so we have coffee cups that we've had, but we got these little, what do you call these? These little skirt sleeves, right, to put on, and they're like a penny cheaper, but you won't need to double cup, okay? And hopefully they're good for the trees. Okay.
And we have lids if you want to take it to go.
Yeah, if you have to have a lid, it's just half.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of those.
Nancy.
So there's not going to be a moving towards racial justice meeting this week because I just didn't get it together. But on the other hand, hopefully next month we'll be streaming Killers of the Flower Moon, which is currently in the theaters. It's based on the true story of the absolute massacre of the Osage people in the 1920s. Primarily, and the start of the FBI. It was kind of interesting. So it's a book that we read in our group, but it is also save the hour and a half from this month, because it's 3.5 hours long, and I understand there's no intermission, but we might take one, and I'll do it on a Saturday. When I last checked, it didn't say what day the streaming will start, but it'll be after December 4th. So I'll try to keep you posted.
Thank you, Nancy. Sue?
Operations committee meeting this week on Thursday at 6 o'clock here in the sanctuary. We're getting closer to designing the postcard that we've been working on for a few months. And we'll also probably talk about the next game night and other things. So come and join us if you wish.
Okay, and my announcement, oh, Wayne, come first.
On behalf of the Nominations and Election Committee, I want to thank the people who have volunteered to run for positions in the coming year, and the election will be in 2 weeks.
Anybody else in the sanctuary? Okay, let me just say, I'm going to thank you in advance for anything you can donate to the 40 Thanksgiving baskets we're going to be putting together during the week of Thanksgiving. Already somebody has brought in 40 packages of stuffing. You don't have to bring 40 of anything, but so, you know, we'll add to that. Whatever you can bring from your pantry that's not expired is acceptable and appreciated. And if you want to just give us a check, if you don't want to do the shopping, only if you can, we gratefully will accept a check as well. Just put Thanksgiving TG baskets in the memo line. Thank you very much. We've got 3 weeks, 2 more weeks to collect. I appreciate it. Randy?
Okay. Robert, if you have something, unmute yourself and share.
Yes, good morning, everybody. There will be a men's group meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the sanctuary, and hopefully I'll be able to get people by Zoom as well. So we look forward to seeing you there.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, everybody. Next week, Andy Fagan will present Letting Go. We take this time to celebrate all those who are having a birthday this month. Birthdays are special, a day when we celebrate your entry into this world and honor your existence. If you have a birthday this month, please raise your hand. When Randy or I call on you, please reveal your special date. November birthdays. Nothing in the sanctuary. What about on Zoom, Randy?
Nobody on Zoom.
All right. Well then, this birthday candle honors all our friends and family members who are also celebrating birthdays this month. Yeah. Thank you, Mary. Sharing together some of our personal and significant joys and concerns brings us closer as a faith community. We invite you to share the milestones that are deeply felt as a part of your personal life. Express a gratitude or perhaps offer an acknowledgement, but please be mindful and considerate of all who come to worship with us this morning. The collective flames of these candles embody all the joys and concerns which may have gone unspoken today, but are also deeply felt in this community. The first reading is an excerpt from The Power of Everyday Awe, and this is a book review by Eben Harrell, a senior editor at Harvard Business Review. In April 2020, I received a phone call informing me that a close family member had died unexpectedly. I wandered outside for some fresh air and, overcome with grief, started weeping uncontrollably. Looking up at the night sky, I imagined what I would look like from the perspective of someone thousands of light years away, a puny figure grappling clumsily with the mysteries of existence. Far from inflaming my pain, the vision showed me a way through it. I then did something quite peculiar for me, given that I'm not religious. I took a knee. I bowed my head. Through my tears, I told the universe that I did not understand its rules, but that I would no longer seek to. I submitted. I didn't know it at the time, but I was having a textbook experience. The new science of everyday wonder and how it can transform your life, defines as the feeling of being in the presence of something vast that transcends your current understanding of the world. In fact, the overview effect, envisioning yourself or the world from a great distance, is one of the most reliable ways to evoke awe. And I'm not the only one who has found comfort from it in these past few tumultuous years. Indeed, awe seems to be having a moment in the spotlight. After COVID, many of us are now seeking to unclench our minds and find greater peace. And that, according to a raft of recent and upcoming books, is something awe and wonder can help with. Though many people predicted that the pandemic would end with a new roaring 20s of wild parties and reckless abandon, the reality has proved messier and more solemn. Humanity has a lot of loss to work through. Keltner has written the perfect guidebook for this journey, interweaving discoveries that he and his disciples have made since he pioneered the scientific study of awe 20 years ago, with highly personal and at times excruciatingly tender meditations on the death of his brother Rolf. Keltner explains that awe is different from fear or an appreciation of beauty, though both can be present when awe is experienced. To find awe, Keltner says, we must look for 8 wonders of life. The most common are nature, music, visual design, and moral beauty. That is when we witness people helping other people. Less common, but often more profound, are collective effervescence, what fans madly cheering together in a soccer stadium feel, spiritual experiences, epiphanies, when we learn something unexpected that changes our worldview, and of course, births and deaths, life's beginnings and endings. Experiencing awe produces a multitude of positive effects. It makes us calmer, kinder, and more creative. It reins in the ego and makes us feel more connected to the earth and to other creatures. Indeed, the goosebumps that we get when awestruck might be an evolutionary signal to huddle together for warmth. Let us enter a place of peace and serenity where you are one with your spiritual being. Be at peace within your space where the absence of all that is temporal is its most cherished gift. Let us enter the stillness. May today there be peace within. May you trust your highest power that you are exactly where you are meant to be. May you not forget the infinite possibilities that are born of faith. May you use those gifts that you have received and pass on the love that has been given to you. Let this presence settle into your bones and allow your soul the freedom to sing, to dance. It is there for each and every one of you. The second reading is 3 different quotes. The first by Albert Einstein. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and science. And by Rachel Carson. A sense of wonder so indestructible it would last throughout life, as an unfailing antidote against boredom and disenchantments in later years, the sterile preoccupation with things that are artificial, the alienation from the source of our strengths. And from the Bible, Luke 5:26, and amazement seized them all, and they glorified God and were filled with awe, saying, "We have seen extraordinary things today." Please stand in body or spirit and sing "What a Wonderful World" by George David Weiss and Bob Thiel.
I see trees of green, roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Great, thank you. Today's talk is titled Awe-Inspiring, the Importance of Finding Awe in Your Life, to be delivered by Sue Davis. Born in the UK and emigrating to California in 1965, Sue enjoyed a career in early childhood education for over 40 years. She was known as the preschool teacher that appreciated active boys and had a passion for children that needed extra understanding. She helped to develop the outdoor classroom program in the Los Angeles area, focusing on developing outdoor spaces for children to explore and learn in, and offering experiences that recreated the free-range childhood that she enjoyed. She and her husband, Mike, moved to California in 2011, where they became friends with a bunch of nice people in the UUCC and became active on the board with the food bank, Adopt a Highway program, and the hiking group. Sue.
Good morning. And thank you, Kat, and thank you for giving me this wonderful book that I inspired my talk today. And Kat, I'm in awe of you and what you do in your life. Thank you. Before I get into the talk, though, I have to say that this is the 5th of November. Guy Fawkes Day, right? remember the 5th of November. I'm looking at Janet because she's lived in England, and this is an English holiday, bonfire night, where Guy Fawkes was a bad guy who tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament in 1605. There you go. Randy's bit of knowledge there that he gave me the date. and anyway, the plot was foiled, and now in England, all the children go around with, they stuff things kind of like our scarecrows, make little guys, Guy Fawkes, effigies, and in old clothes, and we wheel it around town saying a penny for the guy, and they give you a penny. And then you build a big bonfire, put the guy on top, and set fire to the whole thing. And that's Guy Fawkes Night in England. But November 5th was also the day that me and my family set sail from Southampton and emigrated to the States. So it's a pretty emotional, awesome thing. Thank you. Now, to start with the talk, right? So in education, we have this term of scaffolding knowledge, where you build each little piece of knowledge on top of each other. And we've had a few speakers in the last few months that kind of are talking about the same thing, how we find happiness in life, how we find spirituality. Laurie Gardner, what was his name? Jasnam. All of that seems to be building in us. And I think I followed the same thing. My talk kind of scaffolds on that. And even if some of it seems repetitive, as educators, we realize that you have to keep repeating some of this stuff for it to cement as a concept in our lives. Throughout the book, this is the book, thank you. I got to explore awe. And today I came to the point of it, what it is, why it's important, and how we can find it. So that's kind of what I'm going to go over today in what inspired me in this book. As Keltner defines it, awe can be described as the feeling of being in the presence of something vast that transcends your current understanding of the world. Now that seems like kind of a lofty idea, but I also say that awe isn't only a big thing, it's also lots of little things. We often, we can say, oh, I have goosebumps, oh, it gives me the chills, or something that makes you cry, or something that utters, oh my God, or ooh, ah, wow, that's awesome. Sorry. Okay. And I also found another one yesterday, driving down Ardith towards my walk on the ranch. And that hump that you come over and the whole ocean is there in front of you. And I said, it's breathless. It's breathtaking. It takes my breath away. It's breathtaking. And so there's another one. But we say these often, but what might we gain by intentionally recognizing what these experiences do for us? There is scientific research that these kind of experiences release dopamine and oxytocin into our bodies, producing calmness, stress reduction, and improving mood and mental health. Experiences of awe stimulate the vagus nerve, and its response allows us to connect, be open and more creative, and to look beyond our everyday self. It lifts us up, which can have an effect of lifting up the people around us. So Keltner studied stories of awe from over 3,000 narratives in 20 different languages. And he determined different categories, which include wild awe, which is the connection to nature, moral beauty, which is awe inspired by kindness, courage, and overcoming obstacles, musical awe, art or geometric awe, and something he calls collective effervescence. I love saying that, so, and I like that one. So I jumped right in on collective effervescence. So collective effervescence, so the subtitle of this chapter in the book is How Moving in Unison Stirs the Awe of Ritual, Sports, Dance, Religion, and Public Life. So imagine Janet's experience at Burning Man, something she shared with us a few years ago. My own needing to dance with the group at music festivals. You just can't resist it. You just have to get out there and dance. Mike joins the traditional friendship dance at powwows. Marching at a peace rally. How about a Stones concert? Where everyone at the end is going, whoo, hoo, whoo, hoo. Even on the freeway afterwards, leaving the Coliseum, people are still going, whoo, hoo. Me too. How about when we sing together here in church? Doesn't that feel kind of like collective effervescence? So in moving in unison, we can feel exalted. We developed a shared awareness of what unites us. We sometimes even become biologically in rhythm with each other. We shift from an egocentric point of view to a shared attention. I also found interesting what Keltner found in the narratives of people incarcerated in San Quentin. By the way, he mentioned Just Mercy, which was the last film we saw together here. That affected him in his research too. The most common thread of awe among the prisoners fits into the moral beauty category. They reported finding awe in the small acts of kindness that others offered them, the words of appreciation and encouragement. They reported that they felt more hope and kindness and compassion towards others when they experience this kind of awe. I think, Jan, you did refer to that in your talk about, you're being kind to others helps you feel kinder. I included the quote from the Bible in the readings because accounts of mystical experiences and miracles and awe would become the fabric of most religions. Out of mysterious experiences, our mind constructs a sense of the divine. An all-powerful being that is watching us, hearing us, speaking to us, and embracing us. An entity that helps us make sense of the mysteries. Of course, the wild and nature category was what spoke to me most and the one I'm most familiar with. But one study, this is very interesting, fascinated me. Sociologists assessed the natural beauty of each of the 3,100 counties in the United States in terms of sun, weather, water, and topographical diversity that the county offered. They found that as a county's natural wonders rose in abundance, its denizens were less likely to attend church or adhere to a religious dogma. So this is what they found. Getting outside is its own form of religion. And the interviews that they did often mentioned finding the divine in nature. So speaking of musical awe, I want to share an experience that I had just a couple of days ago. So we were listening to music, and Emmylou Harris and Willie Nelson came on the music with singing a duet, Gulf Coast Highway. I don't know if you know that song, but it's a song that chokes me up. And we were listening to this song, and it was actually bringing tears to my eyes. And I had to think of why. I had to stop and think, why does that give me this emotion? So then I thought about aging. And as I age, I think about the legacy of what I want to leave behind. But I also think about how I want my family to see my death. And I love in this song the line, "And when we die, we'll catch some blackbird wing and fly away to heaven." And that's how I really do want to think of that end of life, and how I want my family to think of me up there somewhere looking down on a bird's wing. So that gives me that emotion, right? And that's really awe. And I think about a lot of musicians go to songs about dying and the end of life and death as they age. What about Willie Nelson's "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die"? That's a good one, right? But, that's his sense of humor, and that's the way I'm going to think of him, That's what he brings. Anyway. So, and one little sentence about art. I was surrounded by art growing up, and I was dragged to many museums to look at paintings and stuff like that. But I only remember one instance where we were at the Getty Museum, and I was kind of bored because my parents had spent hours there, And I walked up to this one painting. I still don't know what it is today, but it was two brown shoes, like hiking boots. And I was so overcome because I actually, for the first time in my life, and I was probably in my 30s when this happened because I had my own little kids there, you could see the brush strokes. And I can still remember that image. It's the only painting I really remember because you could see these brush strokes. And I remember feeling this awe of the brush stroke. So how can we increase awe in our lives? Well, Keltner suggests awe walks. Awe walks, awe walks. It sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? Like Ewoks, awe walks. Well, on these walks, we intentionally tap into our childhood sense of wonder, approaching things with fresh eyes, looking afar at the big picture and the closest detail. Now, this is an interesting point because in child development, we started to realize that children's eyesights were getting worse at a younger age. And one of the theories was because they were not spending time outdoors, where you're automatically looking far and near, that their eyes were not actually getting the exercise they needed in childhood. So this idea of when you're outside and you're looking far and close is important. It's a good exercise for the eyes. But also, in school, we used to take a little tiny circle of yarn and really look at what was in there when you laid this on the ground with a magnifying glass. It's another thing for you to look closely at. So here's another study that I liked. He studied the effect of an awe walk by assembling a group of people all over the age of 75. Why this age, you ask? Well, he says, because starting in our mid-50s until the age of about 75, people get happier. They realize that what matters most is not the money or the status or the title or success, but meaningful social connections. But after 75, we start to become more aware of our mortality. And happiness drops a bit. So he thinks it's a really good age to test the powers of the awe walks, which he found leads to less depression, less anxiety, and more joy in life. My mentor, John Young, recommends sit spots, where you choose a place and you sit and you have to be at least 5-10 minutes maybe, because as you sit in nature, it takes that long for the animals to get used to you, and the creatures and the birds. And he recommends, John Young would say, choose a place right outside your back door, because then it's a place you can visit every day, you'll start to see the subtle changes in nature and the things around you. Recently, I met Elizabeth Bettenhausen. She's a local person who's always hanging out the beaches and nature and teaches in the schools. I think she goes into the schools. So Mike and I were standing there at Santa Rosa Creek Road, and Santa Rosa Creek, where it goes into the ocean and the waves are coming in, and she was happening to be there taking photographs. She makes beautiful photographs and puts them on Nextdoor. But she told me that she can't drive anymore, and that's the only beach she can now walk to. And she said, but it's a real gift because I get to know this one place intimately. So maybe we can age gracefully by just adjusting our expectations and looking for awe in what we can still do. As we age and our world becomes smaller, do we have enough awe stored within us so that we can find awe in our minds? So Rachel Carson laments that we are not giving our children enough opportunities to discover and experience the wonders of life. As a teacher, I just have to put this piece in there. The free-range childhood that I experience is disappearing as we overschedule our children and the schools focus on test scores. She says, Rachel Carson says, being awe-deprived can lead to stress, anxiety, alienation, a feeling of having no meaning in life. Carson suggests that we slow down and pay attention to our senses. Try and see where that sound comes when that bird is singing. Use deer ears. You know what deer ears are? When you're listening to nature, you can go like that and it just magnifies the sound. Deer ears. So train yourself to feel awe. Be intentional in including it in your life. Research says that we just need a couple of minutes a day. Find awe in walking the bluffs in the wind. Something that brought me to tears after a storm, walking along just the ranch. It's like you could feel this magnetism in the air, right? Biting into an apple. I was sitting reading my book under the apple tree, and Mike and I had been talking about when the apples would be ready, and I was sitting there reading my book, and I looked up, and here's this apple, and I just reached up and picked it and bit into it. And then I was thinking about everything we had seen in the growth of this apple from the tiny little flower, you know, and that just touched me greatly. Here's one. Sing out loud at the top of a mountain. So Janet and Mary and Randy and I have done that. Here we are hiking up this huge mountain. Do I exaggerate? No, with backpacks on our back, right? And we get to this ridge up at this saddle. And up there is this woman that's known as the singing hiker. And Mary had met her on the trail before, and she was singing. And as she finished her song, these 4 young men joined in, perfect harmony with a song. And when they finished, we joined in and started to sing Blue Boat Home on the top of a mountain, right? Can't get more awesome than that, right? Whew. Sing out loud at the top of a mountain or by yourself. Ponder those questions that have no answers. Where is that ant going? Why? Who tells the birds when to change direction? talk to the animals. They might talk back. And here's one, okay. Hold the hand of someone dying. Awe isn't always a happy thing. I mean, when I held my mum's hand and she died, it was an awesome thing. It was just transcending anything I'd ever felt before. It was awe. It's a little sad, but also awe. At Art's Halloween party, Dolores asked me what the takeaway is of my talk. She always asks me good questions that I ponder. And I think it's twofold. First, how important it is to find things that we are excited about. Secondly, the importance of us gathering together, that collective effervescence that energizes us, that makes us feel part of a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. I really felt when we were singing Wonderful World, I had a little bit of that collective effervescence. Collective effervescence. I like that word too.
Think positively about the world right now.
That's for sure. All right, thank you so much. The morning offering will now be given and received. Please remember we are a self-sustaining congregation and provide all financial resources for our many ministries. We recognize the spiritual value of generosity and invite you to participate. If you are viewing this service remotely, please use one of the methods shown on the screen, and thank you.
When I first heard this song played by a young man at his senior recital, I was awestruck, and I said, okay, I'm going to give it a go. So here it is.
Thank you for all gifts given and received for this work for the work of this community. Please stand in body or spirit and sing the closing hymn, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky.
Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores where spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, our faithful quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky, children ask the reasons why. In our lives the answers show, and by our love they learn to grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between to follow a star, to build a dream. Touch the earth, reach the sky, hug the laughter, feel the cry. May we see where we can give, for this is what it means to live. Touch the earth, reach the sky, soar with courage ever high. Spirits joining as we fly, to touch the earth, to reach the sky.
As we prepare to extinguish the chalice, let us recite the valediction. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in. Please extinguish your chalice at home now. Let's form a circle and join hands, and Sue will deliver the closing words.
There we go.
Thank you.
Set ourselves on fire. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Oh, I got the wrong glasses on, but I can see if I look close. Okay. This is by Rachel Carson. Those who dwell as scientists or laymen among the beauties and mysteries of the earth are never alone or weary of life. Go forth and have an awesome day.
Thank you, Sue. That was good. That was very good.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed crying. Right.